Good day, everybody. Again, my name is Eric Leyland, and thank you for jumping into this video. If this is your first time, we talk all things digital advertising. If this is not your first time, welcome back. Again, this month, as you can see from the screen, and if you've read in the newsletter and the email, we're talking about geo-targeting, and it is a topic that I cover a good amount when it comes to digital advertising, but I really wanted to hone in on this as it's been a conversation that I've had recently with some of my clients about, how and why and where are we advertising. And when you look at it from our perspective of an advertising platform, what's so important about reaching people geographically, right? And most of the clients that I work with have a geographic footprint to deliver ads. And so it really does matter where your advertising is landing. So, as I've helped with clients over the years, one of the big things that I've been able to bring to the table is specifically and hyper targetedly reach to these environments where your potential people are at. A good example, just to use some backstory on why I wanted to share this specifically, was that I was working with a real estate agent, and we started our engagement. And previous to her working with me, they were doing advertising in a movie theater. I actually went to the movies this past weekend with my sons, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about this. It's like it's great to reach a person that's in a seat there. But like, how many people are you really reaching over a given month if you're at one movie theater, which is what she was at? She was at one movie theater. So that month, like, you're going to reach a decent amount of people, but it's a very small amount of people that you can reach when you think about the grand scheme of like where I go. I only spent a couple minutes in that seat where I was actually seeing ads. And at the maximum, maybe you reach 1,000 people over the course of a month, right? With geo-targeting ads and digital advertising, we can maximize that presence. So if you are trying to reach people at a local venue, we can now make sure that happens, but it happens on their mobile device, right? So that person walks into the venue, they have their device on them, it's targeting that person, it's delivering ads as they engage on their mobile device, and then as they get home, we can then make sure that they're reaching that person in that home environment. So how does this actually happen? So when you're talking about geo-targeting, there's a couple different ways that we can target individual areas. So, obviously the GPS, the IP address, there's signals that are out there. There are a multitude of ways that we can reach these highly localized environments and deliver ads. So as that person is walking into that, it gives here the example of a clothing store, but as I talked about, movie theaters, restaurants, sports venues. I sit in the Philadelphia area, and I've had clients that have targeted the Lincoln Financial Field. I've had people that have reached into different, ballparks and sports venues. Again, we know people spend a lot of time there, and if we target those environments, we can reach them and make sure that the message lands in front of those people. So when you look at this, again, we want to make sure that this advertising is working. We don't want to just reach a zip code, right? A zip code can be very large. I live in a large zip code, and it's one of those things that it doesn't really get down to the right type of person. If I'm wanting to reach, let's say I'm a restaurant and I want to reach competitor restaurants, targeting a zip code, is that applicable? Yes. But wouldn't you rather target all the other restaurants that you have around your area to be able to deliver your message into a place where, your potential people are going that might be interested in your restaurant? So all those precise ways of targeting help us to then very specifically not just geo-target by a zip code or an area or even a DMA. If you work in radio, which I used to work in radio, the only geo-targeting that you had that you could run was through the ability to reach the entire DMA. How crazy is that, right? There's so many stories I've shared in the past, and it's one of those things that I still see it to this day, that an advertiser will be running radio ads and they'll be sitting in, let's say, again, I'm in the Philadelphia marketplace, let's say, they're sitting in their businesses in South Jersey, but those ads are reaching all the way up through Philadelphia and where I'm at on the other side of the city. There is no way I'm going over to another state to use your venue. And I hear this all the time. And what is the issue with that? It's wasted advertising dollars, right? It's wasted impressions, as it talks in here. Running advertising in 2025 should be targeted, and there's a lot of ways to make sure that you're hitting your right audience at the right time. So the difference here between just geo-targeting And geofencing is the ability to very specifically and hyper target the areas that we want to. So, and there are times that geo-targeting is applicable, right? You want to reach those entire areas. But by and large, in most of the conversations that I have, they have specific areas. Yeah, thumbs up, right? Thumbs up to the targeting of geofencing, getting that person in the spot that they are at, and make sure that your ads are landing in front of those people. So, the benefits of targeting in these areas are many. So, and again, that's coming back to like the experience factor of this. I've been doing this for almost 20 years. Why do people come to me? People use my experience in these areas to help position them in the areas that, again, matter the most, right? So maybe geo-targeting zip codes is important. I had a client that I was talking to a couple weeks ago that was doing a Google Ads campaign, and we were segmenting their campaign, and we were targeting by zip codes, and he knows which zip codes he gets at the granite and countertop companies. He knows which ones are the most profitable zip codes for him, and so he wants to reach those areas. So we can geo-target in those areas and make sure that the message is effective and that you're allocating budget across a large swath. But there's many times that my clients want to very specifically target areas that matter to them. As we've talked about, restaurants and gyms, you can target buildings where we know that your potential audience is. I have a client that wants to target real estate agencies and real estate agents, and so we can target those venues and those buildings. We can target neighborhoods. We can help to target high volume areas like casinos. Again, there's lots of great opportunities for us to be able to scale messaging across a lot of different areas. And so that's where, again, the very important thing about advertising in 2025 is allocating budget to the right area at the right time. Maybe geo-targeting on large areas is applicable for you. Maybe geofencing is applicable. Maybe both are, right? So you can mix and match. And that's my job. My job here is to make sure that as you look at all the solutions across the table, whether it's Google Ads, Facebook marketing, whatever it is, all these are options that are available to us, right? My role, my responsibility is to figure out what's the mix that's appropriate for you. What are the right solutions, right? When we talk about solutions, what are the right solutions for making sure that your ads are reaching the right people at the right time? And again, I want to be able to support your efforts, make sure that you're reaching the right individuals, and make sure that you're set up for success. So if you have questions as we wrap up this year and we head into a new year, if you have questions about how to target, how to reach people, what's the right mix, what's the right budget, even how much should I be allocating to these areas? These are things that I answer all the time. So feel free to reach out to me. You can email me or reach out to on my social platforms through LinkedIn and other places, and I'd love to set up some time to chat. So again, thank you for taking the time, and have a blessed day.